on Casino Royale with cheese.
And that's the thing, there's not a lot of like super pretty boys in this. Maybe Barry Pepper, but that's about it. And Matt Damon, of course. That's about it. Maybe Giovanni Ribisi.
I mean,
he's a good. Well, Vin Diesel was in it. He's a good-looking dude. Yeah. So forget that. Never mind. We cut into Tom Hanks, who we soon find out is Captain Stephen Miller, or John Miller. I was thinking Steve Miller Band or something. The girls that were with the old man at the beginning in present day, I guess they like posed in Playboy or something like that. The three granddaughters, little blondies, yeah.
It's not like they played a big role. They're just girls standing in the background.
Hugh Hefner thought they needed a bigger role, I guess. So.
Oh, Jesus.
And now, the conclusion.
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning. They're shooting at us! We'll shoot back! Best job ever. Best job ever.
I thank God for every fucking day that he gives me in the Corps.
When was the last time you felt good about anything?
By God, I actually pity those poor bastards we're going up against. By God, I do.
The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save.
You can't handle the truth!
We into killing Nazi business. And cousin, businesses are booming.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
Me so horny. Me so horny. You keep lying. Me love you long time.
Welcome back to Casino Royale with Cheese. This is episode number 28 of the show where we discuss movies that were number one at the box office exactly 20 years ago. My name is Shane. With me today, I am joined by the man that can come to my house and fuck my sister. This is Mike.
Hell yeah!
That's a win right there.
Cool with that?
I don't know. You guys can figure that out. You know, whatever.
Oh, okay.
How's it going today, man?
I'm doing awesome, bro. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Barely. We're doing a whole lot of nothing today, so that's kind of nice.
Same.
Yep. I love those lazy days. So, me and you, we are on week 2 of Military Movie Month.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Last week was Saving Private Ryan. And this week we've moved on to a more current war. Conflict, I guess you could say. There was never an official declaration of war. But why don't you tell me about it there, Miguel?
This week we watched none other than Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. This is our first Stanley Kubrick movie. You're familiar with him, I'm sure.
Who's that again? Of course I know who the fuck Stanley Kubrick is.
Okay, because I say a lot of directors, I don't know, whatever. So, wanted to make sure you're checking. For anybody that doesn't know, he's basically one of the most iconic directors in film history. He directed The Shining in 2001, A Space Odyssey, and Spartacus, and this, and Clockwork Orange, and Eyes Wide Shut, and just a lot of other things. He's notorious for having a lot of symbolism in his movies, so you can either watch the movie and try to get as much as you want out of the plot, or you can try to read into subtext, so it's up to you.
He's known for making visually beautiful movies too.
Yeah, he is. That's one thing that I will say about Kubrick is that when it comes to his directing, his writing, I think that it's a little more abstract, and I think that that's something that a lot of people haven't necessarily emulated. But there's a lot of techniques, though, as far as his directing goes, that were groundbreaking at the time. And pretty much in his movies, you could take a still from any just a screenshot of his movie and turn it into a poster, any movie, right. Really. Yeah. It's all gorgeous to look at and very well done. There's a lot of stuff in The Shining where he's following around Danny, riding on his little big wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he developed, a lot of that technology, like the little dolly that would like follow him around and shit, and watch him from behind, just follow him through the hotel. But so he
had some hand in like the steady cam stuff too.
I think you're probably right. So it's definitely unique. He had only directed one other war movie besides this, and that was called, what was the name of that? It was Paths of Glory, and it had Kirk Douglas in it, but it was a World War One movie, and so you would think, as far as his ability direction-wise, that a war movie would kind of be his bread and butter,
Well, I don't think he made a war movie.
I think you're kind of right. I think it was a war protest movie in parts.
For sure.
Yeah.
This was definitely more of a dialogue about the Vietnam War than it was the Vietnam War.
Right. I tend to agree. Why don't you elaborate a little bit on, first off, why you picked this movie, and then tell me about your experiences with it in the past.
Well, for me, I just couldn't have imagined a month where we talked about military movies and we didn't talk about Full Metal Jacket.
Right.
I mean, this came out 87. Was it 87?
It was 87.
I think it came. Yeah, I think it came out in 87. So I saw it probably sometime in the 90s when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know for sure my senior year in high school, I watched it 30 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had enlisted in the Marines and knew I was going to the Marines right out of high school. So, and I was enlisted for my whole second semester of my senior year. So, I just watched this movie a lot.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. So I couldn't imagine like going through 4 weeks of military movies and not discussing this one. So that's why I picked it.
I got you. It's kind of funny because if we were gonna sit back and talk about, like, say this was War Movie Month, this would be a different sort of choice. But I think that because we're talking a lot about military stuff in general, that there's a lot of military training and stuff like that you see in this, more so than a lot of different war movies, or military.
The whole first half of the movie is boot camp.
Didn't have anything to do with Vietnam, really. The first half doesn't. Yeah, it just happens to be like the backdrop for what's going on, societally. My experience, so back in the day, this was way before Netflix and all that. However, Blockbuster had this deal where it was like their Blockbuster Movie Pass or something like that, and so you could go through and pick this movie. You could pay a certain amount a month and get however many movies you wanted from Blockbuster. You could make 2 or 3 separate trips to Blockbuster a day, and so that's how I actually first saw this. I guess Netflix might have been around at the time, but that was more when they were heavy on like the DVD stuff and not as heavy on like the streaming service,
Yeah, it was still like a mail order.
Yeah, exactly.
Service. Yeah.
Right, and so Blockbuster still thought they had a chance. They didn't, but
they even started doing mail order DVDs.
Yeah, they did. They even came out with that goofy. They called it the Blockbuster Express or whatever. It's kind of like a competitor for Redbox for a while, and then that died pretty quick. Yeah, but so this was one that I'd always heard about, and I didn't ever watch it. I never grew up with this movie. My dad watched a lot of war movies, and this wasn't one of them, And so I was like, I'm gonna check out that Full Metal Jacket and see what the hubbub's about, And kind of like I talked about last week, loved the first half, and then the second half I was like, well, that's kind of different, And that was pretty much that, But so I thought the first half could have made its own movie, if you extended it out or whatever. And then the second half I thought was kind of forgettable. But we'll see if my opinion has changed, which Mike already knows the answer to that, because you ever heard me talking over the weekend. But anywho, one thing I would like to go into, and this is going to be interesting, at least for me, because I don't have any sort of experience with Marine Corps boot camp or anything like that.
Yes.
So I think that it will be interesting. The only kind of military like initial training I've been through is Army basic training. And so I'm going to ask, periodically and see if you've had similar experiences to any of this or what exactly. So
right. I anticipated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get started here first off, though. And as soon as my phone decides it's going to do something, then I'm going to look up and see. We're going to throw some names and some numbers out here. So, first off, this movie had a handful of names in it, but nothing too major. I didn't feel like.
A lot of them were like rising stars.
They were.
Like, they didn't do anything for like a few years still.
Right. The one that kind of stands out to me, especially with that, was Vincent D'Onofrio, who was kind of, he would eventually hit stardom, but he was still far away from it at this point.
Who did he play in this?
He was Private Pyle.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. But he later on would be in, bigger stuff like The Cell. I think he's even been in a couple things with like Vince Vaughn. He was in The Breakup, and he went on later. He was in like Jurassic World, the first one. He was the one that was gonna like do the military raptors or whatever. It's a dumb subplot. Yeah. We got Matthew Modine, who plays Private Joker. Adam Baldwin, who plays Animal Mother. So weird nickname. Of course, Vincent D'Onofrio. Go ahead.
All of their nicknames in this are really strange, except for Joker.
Joker, yeah, or Private Pyle. Every basic training has a Private Pyle, so boot camp, whatever it is, Yeah. We got Arlie Ermy, who this is his like money maker right here, man. He was made for
Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in this movie.
Yeah, old Gunny Ermy, you bet.
I mean, he's huge in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Very.
And wrote a whole career because of this movie.
Right. And from my understanding, he actually, like a vast majority of his dialogue, he came up with himself. Because.
Well, he's a retired gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps, and he was a boot camp drill instructor. So he said all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course. There's a lot of bullshit about him on IMDb too, about the trivia and stuff. How he like yelled at Stanley Kubrick, and that's how he got the role. And like, I don't know if I believe it, but whatever. And the only one I thought of that was kind of a significant deal was Dorian Harewood plays 8-Ball later on in the movie.
Yeah.
And so there's that. This movie came out June 26, 1987, and we kind of broke the mold here a little bit because up until this point, we've always talked about movies that were number one at the box office, and this one never was. It started out at like number 11 at the box office, and then number 10, and then it jumped up to number 2, and then it slowly went back downhill again. So
this is our first non-number one.
Yeah, first ever.
Worth it.
Worth it. Totally worth it. It was made on a budget of $30 million.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's one thing I think that's interesting about this is for $30 million, they went through and like all the stuff that you see, like a building getting blown up or whatever. That they didn't have CGI back then, like they're really blowing up a fucking building back there, And so for $30 million, I'd say it looks all right. I couldn't find any numbers about how it did internationally, but I did find the domestic take overall. Do you want to take any guesses as to how much it brought in the U.S. overall?
120 million.
You're way off this week, yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's 46,357,000 and some change. So
is that all?
Yeah. I think Kubrick's kind of weird like that, though. I think that, he always has kind of like a slow burn, and it wasn't until later that people started to, appreciate his stuff. And then with like the advent of the internet and stuff, he wound up making it even bigger, but by then he was already pretty much passing away. So
well, all his movies are more like cult classics than anything else.
Right.
Like they have real cult followings to them,
Mm-hmm. Especially I think some of the bigger ones, like Spartacus, was really big, and then I think the 2001 probably. But if you're
Space
looking
Odyssey?
at like a clock, yeah. But if you're looking at like a Clockwork Orange, you know, something like that is not going to have, you know, as big a following, you know, or I'd say even The Shining to a certain point, you know. But
well, Shining has a really big cult following.
yeah. Oh, does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would still say it's a cult following. Everybody's seen it, but you know, the list of people that would say like, "Oh man, that was like my favorite movie," is pretty short, I would say.
Right.
So yeah.
I remember when he came out with Eyes Wide Shut, like how big of a deal that was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that you had Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman megastars,
right,
starring in this scandalous movie, and it was a big deal.
Waving her boobs around and stuff, and yeah, all that. So I remember at the time everybody was chomping at the bit to find out what Nicole Kidman's boobs looked like. So, but
I don't remember that part.
It was written by Gustav Hasford. Wrote the book called The Short Timers. And from my understanding, there's actually, instead of the movie being, or the book being like disjointed into 2 parts, it's really more so disjointed into 3 parts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they kind of elaborate. From my understanding, I haven't read the book, obviously, because I don't read books. I'm an idiot. But I guess they go a little bit more into like Joker whenever he first arrives in Vietnam, and then it like gradually transitions over to whenever, you know, all this stuff goes down we see in the last half of the movie. So. Stanley Kubrick is, by the way, notorious for going through in pretty much all of his movies and turning like a 30-day shoot into like 2 years. He'll take like 80 takes of like a short scene, you know? So,
oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people actually attribute, so you heard about all that stuff with like Shelley Duvall, like in her mental state going south. Because like there was the whole
The
Dr.
Shining?
Phil thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess because she did like this deal with Dr. Phil, and I guess like she's pretty much, you know, it's unfortunate, but she's not entirely there upstairs anymore, you know. And people attribute a lot of that to the way that he treated her on set, because he wanted to make her, you know, in The Shining like frantic and stuff, and so he would intentionally like treat her like crap, and she wound up like losing patches of hair and stuff by the end of the filming. So,
oh God.
Yeah, he was a pretty intense director, you know, all around. So, but I think I don't know. I think Kubrick's interesting. We'll have to discuss more of his movies, but we should talk about this one first, I guess. So.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. Why don't you start us out here, Mike?
Okay. Well, we open up to dudes getting their head shaved.
Mm-hmm.
Their faces are great.
I know in basic training, I probably had a similar expression, like, this sucks, you know.
From what I understand, the guys doing the hair cutting, too, are actual barbers from boot camp.
Oh, okay. So
that's what they do all the time.
Yeah. Did they have, whenever you went to Marine Corps boot camp, was it like Marine barbers, or was it civilians that did yours?
They're civilian barbers.
Yeah.
They were old guys.
See, we had like older ladies that were cutting our hair that were civilians. Mm-hmm. What I thought was crazy, though, was because I was, you know, I'm naturally try to be like a nice dude, you know, and so I'm like trying to talk to them and everything. They weren't having it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. They want you to feel like a piece of crap, too, you know? So
yeah, but the faces, obviously, like, they all have, like, just this real, like, stone stare, kind of like they all look a little depressed.
Yeah.
That they're there, except for Pyle.
It looks like he's got nothing going on upstairs. Yeah.
Got, like, a creepy little grin going on. And then Joker, too. He has some type of smirk on his face.
Right. A lot of these guys, we never see him again, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only see, like, 4 guys
Yeah.
in boot camp, like,
Right.
on any kind of consistent basis.
Right.
And then we get a chance to meet Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Yeah. He does his first initial ass chewing speech.
This dude is a world-class shit talker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The phrases that he puts together are incredible.
It's pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie. I like a lot of the... Oh, what is it? The goofy... where he talks about, like, the reach around and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty great. Yeah. He basically... And they do this, in my experience, whenever you first arrive. They kind of, set you up for what to expect. And he's like, I'm a hard ass. I'm going to be fair with you, though. I'm not, like, racist. I'm not any kind of bigot or anything. I'm going to treat you all like shit, basically,
But at the same time, he says all the racist things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And he even cracks a joke on is it Snowball? That he talks about, how they don't serve we'll just say ethnic foods in the mess hall. You would typically consider, It's pretty offensive. He doesn't give a fuck.
So those of listening, we'll just put it out there up front. Like, this movie is full of racial slurs and racist comments and jokes. Like, way more than I remembered being in the movie in the first place.
Right.
So we won't be telling the jokes. If you'd like to see them, you're more than welcome to watch the movie and
it's on Netflix.
Yep. But there's just a lot of stuff that some people would find to be insensitive for us to even repeat it. So we're gonna skip saying those things.
And we do not condone racism in any method or any other type of prejudice, really. But
yeah, he named an African American dude Snowball, so that shows you right there what kind of stuff was going down.
Right.
Joker gives his best John Wayne impression,
which is pretty awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's about as good as mine.
Yeah, exactly. That's always confused me. So he's over there chewing another guy's ass out. Gunny Ermey is, or Hartman, we'll say. And so then all of a sudden, Joker thinks it's gonna be funny to go through and do this stupid John Wayne bit and like just piss him off. I don't understand it.
Why he decides to do it?
Yeah.
He thinks it's funny.
He didn't think it was funny for long.
No, he didn't.
No. He says, "Is that you, John Wayne? Is it me?" And then Gunny Ermey like tries to figure out who said that shit, and then he goes over and like punches him right in the gut. And yeah, he says, "You're a real joker," and that's how he gets his name. We meet Private Cowboy.
Right.
Yeah. We don't see a whole lot of Private Cowboy until later on in the movie. But he's from Texas. And
yep. Only two things come from Texas.
Yep.
And you don't have horns.
Nope. We're not going to go to the other one. And then we meet Private Pile. Who...
That face, man. His face is just too funny.
I don't know. I think he might be like slightly handicapped upstairs.
You think?
It goes beyond just like being like physically slow. This guy has some problems going on mentally, I think, too. Like he's either a dipshit or you could diagnose him with something, but
well, this was in Vietnam.
Right.
They weren't being too picky.
No, they weren't.
Matter of fact, they were drafting fools, so
I think it's funny too, because I don't know, from my understanding, I mean, there hasn't been a draft since I've been born, obviously, neither you. But I typically...
We abolished the draft.
Yeah. Well, you still have to register for it. But...
That's selective service.
Oh, that's the same thing, isn't it?
No.
Oh, never mind. I don't even know the difference. But to my understanding, the drafts, typically those guys would go to the Army, like probably 95% of the time. So I think it's a fair assessment, because I know that my dad back in the day was in the Air Force, and he actually enlisted in the Air Force because he knew he was going to get drafted, and he didn't want to go in the Army. So,
there you could get drafted, and then you would sometimes get to pick, or sometimes I just told you what you were going to do.
I got you. At this point, Private Pile has a stupid look on his face. Like, he's just nothing going on upstairs, man. And so, Gunny Hartman is not impressed.
No.
Yeah. He gives him 3 seconds to wipe that stupid look off of his face. And what's his name? Leonard Lawrence is Private Pyle's actual name, yeah. And he's struggling with it. And he tells him to choke himself.
In his hands.
Yeah, tell us about the choking scene there, Mike.
Well, it's just, he tells the guy to get down on his knees. Pyle gets down on his knees, and then the gunnery sergeant, like, holds his hand out. Says, choke yourself. So Pyle starts to strangle himself with his own 2 hands. But he's like, no, in my hands. And then he, like, just leans forward into the gunny's hand while the gunny's, like, squeezing his esophagus.
Yeah. And he wants him to...
Pretty terrible.
Yeah. Which, I can't speak once again for Vietnam. I know that anymore they're really not allowed to put hands on you in any kind of boot camp or basic training. I think it still might happen somewhat in the Marines, but it's not televised or anything.
When I was in the Marine Corps boot camp, so I never saw anyone choke themselves like that.
Right.
But we did get punched.
Yeah.
Like, they'd like to give us, like, kidney shots and shit when we were in line.
Did you ever catch one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, they never fucked with me like that in Army Basic. I know that... So, there was a guy that I actually was in Fort Drum with that he had been prior service in the Marines too. And he said that there was a deal where they're in like this fake house and they were supposed to be clearing rooms or whatever. And this guy was talking and they weren't supposed to be talking. And the fucking drill instructor didn't think it was funny at all. And he wound up like shoving the guy like through a window and it broke the window. And he was like, man, did you see that guy just fall right through that window? And everybody's like, yep, that's what I saw, you know?
What?
Yeah. So that's the story I heard anyway.
We did most of the violence I saw in boot camp was
guy on guy,
pure violence,
right? Which we catch up in later in this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the barracks? Because mine weren't really like that either.
Identical.
Oh, okay.
To the ones I stayed in.
You didn't have bunk beds?
No, we did have bunk beds.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, these guys did too. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. We have bunk beds and foot lockers, and that's exactly what you see in this movie. The Marines, man, let me tell you, there's something, the Marines, one of the things I think they do right is they hold on to tradition.
Yeah. I got
They hold on to it, and they hold on to it tight. So, like, my experience as far as, like, how I slept and lived and all that stuff, like, throughout this boot camp, the first half of this movie, them, like, prepared them out when they go to bed. Mm-hmm. Like, we did that.
Right.
You see here in a little bit, we'll talk about how we see a hygiene inspection where you're checking under their nails and stuff like that. Right. We did exactly that. Yeah. Like, we stood there in just our underwear and t-shirt and got inspected like that.
Okay.
Standing on top of our footlockers, just like they are. Like,
okay.
They nail a lot of things.
It's fairly authentic. What about the bathroom? There's been some debate about that with, like, that big row of toilets.
Yep.
It was pretty much similar to that.
Yeah, we had partitions between the toilets, but no doors.
Right. We had doors.
Right.
Yeah. What was crazy, so I guess I was listening to another podcast where they're talking about Full Metal Jacket, and they're like, why would they have so many toilets? I already knew the answer to that one, because you got these guys that are, like, eating copious amount of protein and, like, super hydrating themselves and shit. You gotta have a lot of toilets whenever these guys get a chance to go take a piss, you know, or whatever. So, you know.
Well, and everybody has to go at the same time.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
You know, like, it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
You come back from PT, and everybody has to take a shit.
Right. Yep. You've been running chock full of eggs and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a thing. So, yeah, ours were different. So, where I went to basic training was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And so in our barracks, because they had like old barracks from like World War II there, and some of them were in open bay. They weren't all in like a line like that. But in ours, actually in basic training, we had different rooms. So it was like maybe 5 bunk beds to like this tight enclosed area. So it was
what?
Yeah, we had rooms, believe it or not.
Oh, what? I had no idea. Even in like Fort Sill at boot camp, like they still have open bays.
Oh yeah, they had open bays. That's when I went to AIT. We had open bay, but not in basic. It was weird.
That's totally reverse of like anyone else I've ever heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What was the other deal I was thinking of? Oh, we had wall lockers too. We didn't have foot lockers.
Right.
Yeah. The big shit where you could like hang up like your dress uniform or whatever. So.
Yep. We folded everything.
Yeah.
It had to be folded a certain way.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was interesting. It was kind of a shock, and we'll see this later on, but I'm actually used to seeing like the modern day Marine Corps uniform, like the black jacket and the blue slacks, and the red stripe and all that shit.
That's the dress uniform.
Right. But we see him.
But you saw the green is the service uniform.
Oh, okay. So we don't actually see
use.
the dress uniform in this.
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
You don't use it in basic training either. Like, you don't have them. They're not issued.
Yeah. Well,
you have to purchase those on your own.
Right. When we were in basic training, we got ours toward the end. We wouldn't wear them until like graduation. So.
Right. Yeah. But even at their graduation, they're not wearing it.
They do the greens, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, right after that, we get a little bit of voiceover narration where we find out that they're at Parris Island, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you did not go to Parris Island.
No, I did not. I went to Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego.
A whale's vagina. So I guess Parris Island.
It's the Mississippi, by the way, that makes the decision where you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
If you're west of the Mississippi, you go to San Diego. If you're east, you go to Parris Island.
I got you. That's kind of weird because Cowboy was from Texas.
Yeah, I don't know if they had MCRD San Diego in the 60s or 50s or whenever this is taking place, though.
Yeah. All I know is
probably did.
Yeah. Neither one of those boot camps are a picnic, but I heard Parris Island is really unpleasant. So everybody
they call us Hollywood Marines.
Yeah.
The guys who went through San Diego.
Right.
And fortunately, I wasn't in Parris Island either, but I can tell you that it's like swamp.
Yeah.
And apparently they have a real problem with like sand fleas that bite.
That sounds crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now for us, we have the hills of Pendleton.
Right.
Like we go walking through the mountains of Pendleton and stuff, but I'll take that over sand fleas.
Yeah. I don't know what a sand flea is, but I don't like it.
And I'll tell you right now, weather in the summer in San Diego is beautiful.
Yeah. Gorgeous outside. Yeah.
I'll take San Diego, thanks.
Yeah, I think North Carolina would kind of suck this time of year.
South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina, yeah. Yeah. We see the guys out running in uniform. In formation.
Boots and utes.
Yep. Which they really don't do, in my experience, in basic training, we really didn't do much running in uniform either. They thought I'd give you like shin splints and shit. So
we would do like a run like that on occasion.
Oh, okay.
And we call it boots and utes because you're in your boots and utilities.
Mm-hmm. I got you. We see where I wrote down Private Pyle. He has the rifle on the wrong shoulder. What'd you tell us about that? They're going through like customs and courtesies or whatever.
Drill and ceremony.
Yeah, that's what DNC. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that running cadence, I think that's when we got the mama and papa lying in bed.
Give me some. A P2.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still used all the time.
Yeah.
So they're doing some DNC, and he's got his rifle. Pyle's got his rifle on the wrong side, and the drill instructor slaps the shit out of him.
Slaps him so hard it knocks his hat off.
Slaps him twice.
Yeah. He says, "Which one is this?"
Identify his left and right.
Yeah. He's like, "Which one is this?" And he like hits him upside the right side of the face, and he's like, "It's the right side," Yeah.
Smacks the shit out of him. And then after he tells him to pick up his hat, we see that he is marching behind the formation, sucking on his thumb.
With his pants around his ankles, yeah.
Yeah, and his hat on backwards.
Yeah. And he's like carrying his rifle, like the barrel end of it with the shoulder stock like sticking up in there.
Yeah, so they're just humiliating the shit out of this guy.
Which they'll do this too, in my experience, is they would find somebody that was just a complete fuck up and, pretty much just bunch in on him. So, I thought it was weird. Go ahead.
There's a pile in every platoon, man.
There is. I can't say whether I may or may not have been Private Pile. We'll say I got my shit together. So there you go.
You probably started off more of a pile.
Yeah, I was a big old fuck up when I started in basic training. Because Mike knows me. I don't do anything fast. I got 1 speed or 2 speed, slow and stop. You know. So
Yeah.
I thought it was weird because we had a bunch of dudes that drill sergeants that did their thing with us, but this whole time it's just Gunny or me. You know, we don't see anybody else really.
You see 2 others at one point.
They're like standing by the door.
They walk in with him when he goes to wake him up.
Oh yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you see, which is unusual. I can tell you that the structure there in Marine Corps boot camp, you got a senior drill instructor. He's like the dad. You have the senior drill instructor, junior drill instructor, and he's like your teacher. Yeah, he's your teacher. And then you have the heavy.
Okay.
And your heavy is like the one who like wrecks your world.
Yeah. So that's the guy to avoid.
Yeah. What happened was unusual when I went through is our senior and our junior drill instructor both had babies at the same time. So they both got like 2 weeks off or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's just the heavy with us every day for 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Like we got really tight with him.
Yeah.
Like close. Like we could anticipate what he was going to say before he said it, and we could execute.
I got you.
We got to the point we were so fluid as a platoon that when the drill instructors that were gone on paternity leave came back, they fucked us up because we weren't listening to them at all.
Yeah.
we were only listening to the one guy that we were scared of.
Right. I understand. I wrote down they have to give their rifle a girl's name because that's the only thing they're going to be sleeping with for a while. And they actually say a prayer that involves their rifle.
This is my rifle.
Yep. There are many like it. This one's mine. All that shit.
Yeah. Famous.
It is. So I wrote down that Pyle sucks at the obstacle course, the pull-ups, the ladder, and running in general. This guy can't do much of anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, the Jacob's ladder, he freezes on, won't even climb over the top of it.
He's having a struggle. There's like these unparalleled bar sort of things where he's supposed to run up and like springboard off the first one and then try to vault over these bars. They're just made out of wood, logs, but he can't do that. He can't pull up anything. He can barely pull up his pants, you know.
Yeah, I love the scene because the actor, like he's jacking himself up on purpose.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's purposely like jumping up, slamming into this pole, falling down on the ground, landing on his back, like several times in a row.
Right.
And how many times do you think they were hurt? They did that scene.
Well, and that's the thing. If it's Stanley Kubrick, he's already done this for like 2 weeks now. You know,
right?
Just one stupid, like his ribs are all bruised up and shit. You know,
right?
And of course, Gunny Hartman, he's like, "Oh, I bet you could get up there if there's a pussy up there," you know, and all this other stuff. He's like, "Don't you think so?" He's like, "Yes, Joe, sir," or "Yes, sir," you know, and all this other shit.
We see Joker kind of like helping.
Yeah, he's trying to help where he can with this dude.
Giving him someone to lean on during like different runs and stuff.
I don't know if your experience is the same as mine. I actually kind of like the obstacle course. I thought it was kind of fun. You know,
it's fun as fuck. Yeah,
you get to go out there and play on a big playground.
Yeah, I mean, not that long ago, my recruiting office, we actually went and like signed out one of the obstacle courses.
Yeah.
On Fort Sill, and we brought our future soldiers, so the kids waiting to go to basic training. We took them down there and had them run through the obstacle course, and I was demonstrating obstacles and stuff. It was fun.
Good time. Yeah. I thought I was, because in every movie you see where they do this shit, they always show these guys just having an awful time, and I expected the worst, and I went and I was like, well, that's pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
So we get to this interesting point where, he's talking about how the drill instructor is talking about how clean he wants his bathroom. He said he wants a toilet so clean that even the Virgin Mary would be proud to take a dump. And so then he asked Joker if he believes in the Virgin Mary. He's like, no, I don't. And then he offers up this great little deal, you know. Doesn't he slap him after that too? And
yeah, smacks the shit out of him.
Yeah. He's like, now you're going to say you believe in the Virgin Mary. He's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, well, why aren't you? And he says, because I think that you're just waiting for me to flip-flop, and then you're going to punish me even worse. And that's when he makes Joker the new squad leader instead of Snowball.
Right.
And he gives, it's his, like, personal mission now to get Pyle through boot camp, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Private Pyle's like his protege, you know.
Yeah, he even makes them bunk together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna square him away or else, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
So then we see him. We go through a montage of him helping him, you know, assemble his rifle.
Yeah.
Polish his boots.
Lace his boots.
Oh yeah, lace his boots.
And
climb
polish.
Jacob's ladder.
And Private Pyle's starting to make some progress. He's doing better.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch this guy actually start to progress. Because he does, you know, he's kind of struggling with, like, the Jacob's ladder. But then you see him finally, like, overcome his fear. He realizes that as long as you hold on, you'll be fine, you know. And so...
I seen a dude tumble from the top of that thing one time, man.
Oh, wow.
It was
because it's like 40 feet up in the air, you know.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
The dude was like smacking his head and his ribs like on logs as he was falling. It was so crazy, man. I started laughing while I was telling you about it because the visual of it like popped back into my head. It was like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like doom, 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 like all the way down.
Jeez, Mike.
And then when he hit the ground, he just said, "Ugh."
I bet it knocked the wind out of him. Most definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was okay.
Yeah. Well,
he was a little banged up, but he's all right.
Nowadays, what they do is, from my understanding, they put up, at least they do with us, is they use old, like, ground up rubber tires, and so they'll line up shit with that. So, you know, if you do fall, you're at least probably not going to die, you know.
Shit, I don't know what it's like in Marine Corps boot camp now, but even when I was in it, it was like wood chips.
Oh, wow.
It was like our best thing to fall on.
Yeah, that sucks. I think I might have told you this story. So, did you guys ever have to, like, rappel off of a wall or anything like that?
Yeah.
Because we did that. It was a big old 40-foot wall. And it was really funny because there's this one kid, we called him Gollum, because he's kind of like this skinny little hunchback with, like, jacked up teeth or whatever. And he went up to the top of this rappelling wall, and he wound up, like, pissing his pants. This is really bad, dude. Yeah. Bad deal.
Wow.
Yeah. After this, we get the running cadence that I love. It's the Eskimo pussy.
I don't know what you've been told.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's great.
Still, we used that one up until just a few years ago.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore.
We're not allowed to use that one anymore. Now we have different variants of it. We're like, I don't know what you've been told, and everybody looks over like, oh no, he's gonna do it, and then you just say something
Just
different.
waiting for somebody to do it. Because they could even like pull jagging on your ass or something crazy, you know.
Oh, that's a sharp complaint all day.
Absolutely. That's the sexual harassment program they have for the layman.
Sexual harassment and assault response program.
Yes. And they get trained on it regularly. So, right after this is the scene you were talking about, where he's checking out their nails are manicured and short enough within regulation and dirt and all that. And why don't you tell us what happens, Mike? Because this is kind of where shit starts going bad.
So, like I said, hygiene inspection is a big part, and wall locker foot locker security is a big thing too. So, like this whole scene, man, I'm telling you, I went through this.
Right.
I saw this exact thing play out, like in real life. So when remember I told you I watched the movie like 30 times before I went. So when I watched this go down in person, I was like, there's no fucking way this is really happening.
Yep.
Like I'm in some type of alternate universe all of a sudden.
Right.
But what happens is he's doing the hygiene inspection, and everything's going pretty well. And this is exactly how it goes.
You're thinking Private Pyle's doing better. He's improving.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, we already saw him on range. Like, he can shoot.
Right. Yeah, he's Harmon's
have
actually
we seen that
impressed.
yet?
No, I think it's a little bit later we actually see him shoot.
Yeah, no, we just saw him at the range, and they were talking about, like, having weapons or
and
whatever.
I think
anyways,
that's where it might be there where he's talking about like Lee Harvey Oswald and shit. Maybe
no, that's later.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
go ahead.
But anyway, so they do the hygiene inspection, and he notices that Pyle's footlocker is not locked, and it's a big deal.
Big deal.
So he tells him to get off the footlocker and starts looking in there. And this is typically where they would start throwing shit.
Just take the whole thing and dump it. Yeah.
Yeah. But when he took the little trays off the top of the footlocker, he saw a jelly donut sitting in there. I saw this happen, dude. I'm telling you. I watched this happen in real life. It was peanut butter, though.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how much when I went through it and what this movie does, because he asked Pyle, like, why did you take the jelly donut from the
mess hall
dining facility? Yeah, the mess hall. And the kid said, Pyle said, because he was hungry.
Right.
It's the same shit that fucking kid said when the drill instructor asked him why he took the peanut butter.
Yeah.
And the exact same thing happened. We all had to do push-ups while he ate the food.
I'm sure that at that point everybody had seen this movie, and so that doesn't surprise
No.
me. Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of the people in my platoon, I was, because like we don't get a chance to like really chit chat too much.
I'm saying your drill instructor
for,
probably saw it though. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Every Marine has seen this.
Of course.
While we're talking about that, I would have to say I think this is the best advertising campaign any branch of service has ever done.
Oh man, that's funny.
And I know you're thinking like, why would anybody want to do that? It looks so terrible in this movie. I'm telling you, a lot of young men in this country want to prove something to somebody.
People like this shit. Some of them, So,
oh yeah. I get guys in my office who are joining the army because they want to do something hard.
Yeah, that's it.
So this movie, I think, was a fantastic advertising campaign.
There you go. So he has to eat the donut while the other guys get mass punishment. Basically.
Yeah, the mass punishment. He's eating a jelly donut.
Harmon even says, "You guys have failed him. You haven't helped him do this stuff, and so anytime he fucks up now, it's all going to be on you.
Right.
I'm going to take it out on your ass."
Which, by the way, it would have been like that from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Usually, in my experience, the mass punishment actually isn't as widely used later on. It's more early on in basic training or boot camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The beginning, it's all mass punishment, and then towards the end, it's better now. It's an individual thing.
Right. We see where there's another deal where they're out on like the parade surface, and he's sitting there sucking his thumb while the guys are doing push-ups. We don't know what he did, but he fucked up apparently.
Yeah, on PT field.
Yeah.
He's sitting on top of what we call the demonstrators table.
Yeah. Pretty.
And they're doing
burpees, yeah. And that's whenever we cut to where Joker is actually helping Pyle get dressed. Like, the dude can't even dress himself.
Yeah.
This guy is not sharp at all, man,
I'm guessing they put that scene in there to show us, like, just how incompetent he is.
And he's like, "Hey, Joker," he's like, "everybody hates me now." He's like, "We don't hate you. We just want you to try, try to do better. Quit fucking us over.
You just keep failing."
Yeah. And then we get the scene where we talked about the peer violence. And I guess it's not so anymore. They typically discourage this sort of thing, but up until fairly recently, it wasn't that uncommon for your peers to try to motivate you to improve, we'll say.
Yeah.
So why don't you, first off, so you had this sort of thing kind of go down when you were going through boot camp, Mike?
Oh yeah, we had a blanket party.
Yeah, pretty bad deal.
One of the worst things I've ever been involved with.
Yeah, it is what it is,
Well, gotta remember, I was 18 and stupid.
Right.
Today, if I was in a kind of environment where like someone suggested this, I'd be like, that's not happening.
Right.
I'm not letting that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at that time, like, I was scared that if I didn't participate, I'd be the next one getting a party.
You were gonna get one too, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
So we did it, and it was the exact same way, like that you saw in it. Pretty much, a couple guys held him down with the blanket, and then everybody like with one shot. We use socks with ours.
Yeah. That happens more so than.
Huh?
Yeah, my dad said that they use socks back when he was going through basic with the Air Force.
Yeah, to explain to everybody what it is exactly, is like you put a bar of soap inside of a sock, and now you have a weapon.
Here they wrapped it in a towel, but yeah.
Yeah, thing. And everybody in the platoon goes through and gives one shot to the midsection.
So supposedly the soap bar hurts pretty well. I've never been hit with a soap bar, but
You could imagine that being swung at a high speed, it would hurt.
Pretty unpleasant, yeah. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but they say it doesn't leave bruising either. So
I call BS.
Yeah, I don't know how it couldn't, but
that's why we don't hit the face.
Right. They all decide that they're sick of Pyle's bullshit. I think the whole idea behind this is that you're trying to help the other person improve, but and also probably let out some aggression in the meantime over this guy that keeps getting your ass in trouble. In your experience, did the guy react basically the same way as Private Pyle did, Mike, or
no?
No.
I mean, he did get more squared away, but we all did.
Well, he just kind of took his licks though and got down the thing.
Oh no, he cried that night.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And the next morning, there was a lot of people whispering to him, like, "You better not fucking say anything."
Oh shit, yeah.
Or we'll see you again tonight.
Right.
It was pretty crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
We also had a thing called the Rose Garden.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's when the drill instructor would like task people with whooping someone's ass.
Just beat his ass, yeah.
Yeah, so they'd be like, tonight when you're on fire guard, you need to take him to the Rose Garden, which means like, you know, we had some hulks in the platoon, some big dudes that like were from the streets, and like we knew they were tough guys, and the drill instructors knew who those guys were too. So they would tell them like, "Hey, you're gonna take Chandler out back to the Rose Garden tonight, and I want you to fix this."
Just whip his ass a little bit, rough him
up.
Yeah.
Luckily, I never got invited to the Rose Garden.
No, that'd be pretty bad. I would have.
The Rose Garden wasn't a Rose Garden, by the way.
No, that's
just an area behind the barracks.
Right. Yeah, there's no actual roses.
Nope.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of different emotions going on in the scene. You know, they go through, and at first all the guys are pissed off or whatever. You know, Private Pyle doesn't have any idea. There's a guy comes up beside him and like holds him down with a towel. You know, up underneath.
Well, Joker has a towel in his mouth.
Yeah. But
not Joker, I'm sorry, Cowboy.
It's Cowboy, yeah.
The Cowboy's holding down Pyle with the towel across his mouth, and there's 4 other guys holding the blankets down.
Right. It's the last one to get his licks in is Joker. Mm-hmm. And you can see the frustration in this dude's face.
Well, he doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't want to, but then once he starts doing it, it's like
he can't stop.
He almost takes pleasure in it. Like, this guy has fucked me over so much, you know, and he's not getting any better. And even whenever he is doing stuff better, now he's doing stupid shit, you know, that's costing us even more. And so
yeah, like the donut, like he could have prevented that one.
Yeah, easily. Not being able to climb over Jacob's ladder, that's one thing. But bringing a donut in, come on.
Right.
You know? So he gets, I counted, there's at least 5 or 6 good hits that he gets on this dude. And of course, you know, it's right after that we hear Private Pyle sobbing and yelling and all that other stuff. It's really too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that happened to, it was not the dude with the peanut butter, by the way.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just a guy, he fucked up every day pretty much. He did something.
Mm-hmm.
But he was pretty far from me, like in the bay, and it felt like he was laying right next to me when he was crying.
Yeah.
It hurt me, man. Like, really hurt me when I was listening to this guy cry. I was like, damn.
Right. Like, I just decimated this dude, you know? And I think part of it, too, is not necessarily, like, the physical pain of it, but also now you know kind of where you stand amongst your boys. You know, like it takes like an emotional toll on you too. You know,
for sure.
And, you know, what's crazy that I was thinking about whenever I was watching this, because we see later on in the movie where the gunny sergeant, he's actually staying in the same barracks as them at the other end. He has like his own place where he stays, and like during the bathroom scene,
Yep.
And you know that he heard everything that was going on. You know.
Well, he definitely heard Pyle crying.
Pyle freaking out. He didn't give a fuck. He wanted him to get straightened up. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
so yeah, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's right after
that. We go out. They're doing more DNC.
Mm-hmm.
And Gunny's asking them like, what makes the grass grow?
Right.
Blood does.
Yep.
They're doing all the different stuff, and Pyle's just standing there. He's not even sounding off. He's
not
standing there.
He's not fucking up anymore, but he's gone. You know.
Yeah.
Staring off into space.
This is where Gunny teaches us about the Marine Corps assassins.
Right. Badasses. And it is true, the whole thing with Oswald. There's been a couple of really famous snipers throughout history that have been trained in the Marines that have gone on to do some pretty disreputable stuff. But
the only two I can think of are the Oswald and the tower guy from Texas.
Oh, okay. I seem to recall hearing some other shit, but I couldn't tell you offhand.
I mean, Marines are generally good marksmen.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't miss ever. just saying.
That's what happens. Yeah. You're like Deadshot.
Yeah. Excuse me.
So it's of course, whenever he's going through all this other stuff, Leonard's just staring off into space. You know. He's not interacting with any of his peers or anything like that anymore. He's done. So it goes through. We see where they're cleaning their rifles, their M14s, which that kind of threw me for a second because I was like,
"Excuse me,
Mike is tripping."
Yeah.
I thought it was weird because I knew that they had used M16s in Vietnam because I know my dad did. And so when I saw him rocking the M14s, I was like, wait a minute. But we see that later. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just for training.
Right.
They needed all the M16A1s in Vietnam.
Those are the ones that were fully automatic.
Yep.
Which is pretty badass. And I guess they've gone back to that now.
What?
That's my understanding. Or no, it's the M4s now that are... Because they used to just be like a 3-round burst. But I guess they're fully auto now. The new ones they're issuing are. It's my understanding. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
I've never held one.
No, me neither. But we see where Leonard, while he's like disassembling and cleaning his rifle and oiling it and everything, he's actually like talking to it, and that's when Joker's like, "This dude's shit's getting kind of weird, man."
Yeah, you skipped over Jesus' birthday.
Oh yeah, I did. It's Christmas, and they sing
Happy birthday to Jesus.
Yeah. Yep. Which we've established Joker is an atheist, so.
And he talks about how God loves the Marine Corps.
He sends them all those fresh souls and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that God was here before the Marine Corps, so you can give your heart to the Marine or to the God, but your ass belongs to the Corps.
Right.
I can barely get that sentence out.
You were having a hard time, man.
Yeah, I was like stumbling all over my words.
Yeah, that sentence kicked your ass. Oh, I do like when earlier on in the movie where they're doing pull-ups, and he's like, "One for the Commandant," and he's like, "One for the Corps." Oh, I guess the Corps doesn't get it, so, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
All that stuff, we really did that stuff too.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Like when you're doing push-ups, you do like 50 push-ups, like in cadence. You do like 50 push-ups and then be like, one for Chesty Puller, and one for the Commandant. Like all that shit.
I got you.
But yeah, Pyle's losing his shit.
I guess he's named his rifle Charlene. So
yeah, hey Charlene, shout out.
Right? It's good. It's nice.
I was waiting until we got there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's like our number one fan, so go Charlene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Private Pyle likes you, so. we see Joker and Cowboy are cleaning the bathroom. They're mopping the floor, and they think that Private Pile is Section 8. Explain to us Section 8, Mike.
Crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just discharged under Section 8,
the-
which is mental health issue.
Right. They do some kind of psychiatric eval and realize that you ain't got it. Mm-hmm. It's after that we see where Pyle is actually a pretty good shot, and that's whenever like the drill instructor is actually really impressed with how good he can shoot, and so then we go through. We see in formation the drill instructors asking the guys their general orders, inspecting their rifles and stuff, and the one dude doesn't know his. And he goes, Private Pyle. Sure enough, he's on point. He knows his general orders. He has a name for his rifle. It's clean.
Charlene.
Yeah. And he's good to go. And the Gunny Hartman is really impressed with this shit. And then I wrote down graduation day.
Yep.
Yep. So they're handing out. This is kind of different for me because I know whenever you enlist in the Army, you already know what your job is going in, but not in the Marines. They wait till your boot camp is over, and then they just kind of assign you different tasks.
Well, actually, that's not how it works.
Oh, okay.
The way it works in the Marines, like, you enlist first, and then you go back to your recruiter's office, and you make a, like, wish list of, like, what area you want to be in. So not specific MOSs like we do in the Army, but, like, I want to be in the engineers, or I want to be in the infantry, or I want to be
artillery,
in
or
artillery, yeah,
cook,
or
something.
Aviation. Yeah. So you just pick a general area, and then just before graduation, they tell you what your specific MOS is going to be
based on the needs of the Marines at the time. I guess. Yeah, I got you.
Which is weird though, because didn't they already walk?
Yeah, they showed them out marching. They already like graduated technically.
Yeah, when we graduated, we were gone. Like we popped smoke.
Hop on the bus, you're out. Yeah.
Yeah. But these guys all come back, get their MOS issued to them, and we find out Joker is a journalist.
Yeah. 'Cause, I wrote down, what is it here? Basic military journalism. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the drill instructor thinks it's a waste of a good infantryman, but I'm sure they all feel like that to a certain degree.
Yep. Pyle, he got infantry.
But he calls Pyle twice, and Pyle doesn't respond the first time because he's out of it, you know. Mm-hmm. It's weird because after this, you never see Pyle interact with any of the other Marines in his boot camp platoon. And again, pretty much, you know, until what comes up later. So he's in a pretty low place, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And last night, Firewatch. Joker's on Firewatch.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's doing his rounds, he finds Pyle in the latrine.
Mm-hmm.
The Marines call it a head.
Yep. The head.
It's really weird when you share a head with somebody because then they're your head mate. And that sounds weird.
That does sound weird. It was always latrine in the Army, but we'll go with head.
Yeah, so he finds him in the head.
Purposes.
And Pyle is looking fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's out of it. Everybody's seen this scene. I guarantee. Even if you haven't seen this movie, you've seen this scene.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He's going through, he's talking about his rifle a little bit, and he's, oh, hi, Joker, you know, and all that crazy crap.
Hi, Joker.
Right. You guys didn't get to bring live rounds with you, did you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. So he somehow snuck in these live rounds.
Yeah, we do a shakedown, just like the Army does. Mm-hmm. Shakedown, for those who don't know, is when you're done with the rifle range, you go and you have to show that your weapon is clear. There's no ammunition in your weapon, and that you have no ammunition on your person.
Right.
So they check all your little pouches and your cargo pocket, and they make you like pat down everything just to make sure that you didn't accidentally leave a couple.
Turn out your pockets. They check through your Kevlar and your helmet and all that shit. Yeah.
But this is 100% why we do the shakedown.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a no-go. When I went through, they wouldn't even let you bring your rifle in the bathroom anymore. So they'd be like, you need to find somebody to watch your weapon while you go take a shit or whatever. So, but yeah, he's out. Private Pile, he's got all these rounds loaded up in his magazine. And
7.62 millimeter full metal jacket.
That's it. And then he stands up and he starts doing this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And all that shit.
Gunny hears it.
Yeah. Comes in. I think it's funny. He's wearing like a sweatshirt and his underwear and his round brown hat.
Yeah, he's still got his hat on.
Right. Kind of cracks me up. I didn't realize that they slept in the barracks with the Marines. That's weird to me. But
yeah, we're the ones that wake them up too. We're their alarm clock.
Yeah. And the whole thing where they like run around with the trash can like banging it, that's pretty authentic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will like slam on our hand on their wall next to their door, like boom, boom, boom. Sir, time on deck is 0445, sir. Like sounding off and like with their alarm clock.
Yep. He's right the fuck up. In 5 minutes, he's dressed ready to whoop that ass.
Yeah. So sometimes like we'd like boom, boom, boom. Light clicks on, and he'll yell out like "Shut the fuck up!" And he's already up and like dressed and shit,
ready to whip ass. Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh shit!" You like scurry around all your little buddies and start waking them up. They're not allowed to get out of bed, but you wake them up.
Right.
So, anyways, that was off topic. So Gunny comes in there, ready to rock and roll, starts yelling at Pyle. And he says to Joker, "Why aren't you over there kicking his ass?"
He's got live rounds in his rifle. So that's whenever the Gunny tells him, he's like, "Put your rifle on the ground, slide it toward me, quit being an asshole." And that Private Pyle's not going to hear that at all, So, and he doesn't respond. And Gunny says, "What's your major malfunction, numbnuts?" Which is a great line. Iconic.
Yeah.
And then he winds up shooting him right in the guts.
Man, right, it was dead in his chest.
Yeah.
And the image of Gunny Army, rest in peace, getting shot like is so crazy. Because like he's like flying back and it's like a stream of blood coming from his chest.
It is. It's crazy to me to think about, because I think about people like him or maybe like Chris Kyle, or we actually had an instance where one of our drill sergeants almost got shot. It was whenever they were supposed to clear their weapon and he had a live round in there. Like he pointed it right at the drill sergeant when he like looked down the chamber. He's like, "There better not be a live round in there." And sure enough, there was. This guy,
oh, God.
They fucked him up, dude. But I think it's crazy to think about, like Gunny Hartman and all that made it through who knows how many tours in combat, and this guy probably had been around since, Korea and shit, and here's this dude, that takes him out. It's just cold-blooded, man.
Yep. Shoots Gunny right in the chest, then he sits down on a toilet, and what's he say?
That's whenever Joker tells him, he's like, "It's okay, just put the gun down."
Oh, right.
And I don't think Pyle says anything.
I don't think he does either. I think he just
flips
blows
it
his
around.
brains out.
And that's the end of that movie. It's so disjointed, this movie, man. It's fucking weird. We cut to, in our next movie, this is a double feature, by the way. It's like Grindhouse before Grindhouse.
Yep.
We see where there's this little bitty skinny gal that goes walking up in the streets of Da Nang. And she goes to talk to these two individuals that are sitting there in Marine uniforms. And she's trying to offer her services, we'll say.
Me so horny.
Yeah, me love you long
Me
time.
love you long time.
Right.
Made famous. Was it from the Two Live Crew?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, made famous in that song by Two Live Crew.
This is the part of the movie right after this scene that's where I was turned off. Which is crazy.
So you do it right after the karate guy steals the camera? You turn it off? Yeah, so we see Joker and some other dude there. His name is Raptor Man for whatever reason.
Raptor Man. Yep.
Yeah, they're sitting there chit-chatting with this prostitute. They negotiate their price. And Joker's like posing with the girl. And she's like coughing.
Right.
And it's pretty funny, he goes, because half these girls are working for the NVA.
Right.
Because the other
North
half have
Vietnamese,
TB.
yeah. Right.
What's that?
I was just saying that's the North Vietnamese.
Yeah. The other half have TB, so only fuck the ones that cough.
Right. You'd rather have tuberculosis than, get with a North Vietnamese woman.
Yeah.
Probably kill your ass, so yeah.
That's hilarious. So then the Raptor Man's camera gets stolen and some dude does some karate moves on him.
Yeah, he does. It's a bizarre scene.
And then that's the end of that scene.
Yeah. That's the end of the movie.
That's where Shane always turns it off.
Yep, that is.
Well, there's a whole rest of the movie to go.
The whole rest of the movie, we got like an hour.
Yeah. We go to Da Nang.
We find out, so Raptor Man is Joker's photographer. Mm-hmm. And he apparently, he's got the itch, man. He's tired of taking stupid pictures of Vietnam. He wants to go out and actually do some shit combat-wise.
He wants to see some shit.
Yeah. And so basically that's whenever Joker tells him, he's like, well, you ain't doing some shit. You're going to fucking hold that camera if you know what's good for you, basically. We cut to a meeting where there's a lieutenant that's talking to the people that work in like the journalism group that run the newspaper, basically Stars and Stripes. And I just wrote down military media censorship because he's like telling him exactly what verbiage to use because obviously Vietnam wasn't very popular. And so he's trying to like, give the guys that are writing, try to incite, some sort of hope amongst the other Marines, soldiers, whoever. And at the same time, also, if somebody stateside gets a hold of the newspaper, they don't want it to be all doom and gloom either,
Yeah. One of the guys brings up the Tet holiday. Possibly that the Vietnamese are gonna do something on the Tet holiday, and he's like, oh, they say that shit every year. He wants upskirt shots of Anne Margaret.
Yep.
He tells them to no longer use the term search and destroy. You'll now replace that with sweep and clear.
Yep. I think it's funny because that isn't that uncommon like anymore. I know, at least in my experience, we would always try to use the words double tap, and they're like, nope, it's not a double tap. It's called a controlled pair. Right. Yeah, we don't say that anymore. So
I get every month. I get an email because I'm in recruiting. I'm in the public. Every month I get an email on like talking points.
Shit you can't say and stuff like that.
What I can't say and what I should be talking about.
Right. Yeah.
I don't ever open the email.
Right. We see where basically in the barracks where Joker and Raptor Man are sleeping, there's these guys that are acting, like they're just hardcore.
Payback.
Yeah. Basically, Payback thinks that Raptor Man and Joker ain't no shit because they haven't seen any combat and all that stuff. Talk about the 1,000-yard stare that all combat veterans get after they've been in combat for long enough, and just kind of stare off into nothingness, And it's right after that where there's explosions on the base for the Tut holiday. Yep. Yeah.
The Tet offensive is happening.
There you go. And they go through, these guys that are North Vietnamese are all trying to break onto this military base, and they hold them off, essentially.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And
then they get back to the newspaper the next day, and we find out that Joker and Raptor are going to go to Fugai.
I wrote it down. I just wrote down Hue, the city that they end up in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then they get on a helicopter to go for a helicopter ride.
Right. Well, he goes through the lieutenant's talking about doom and gloom a lot. He says that Charlie set every major military target. That the U.S. Embassy has been overrun by North Vietnamese suicide squads, which made me think of like Jared Leto.
Oh, right.
Like Harley Quinn and shit, yeah. So the Suicide Squad's involved now. That's crazy. But I think Captain Boomerang, you'll probably be safe. But
yeah, the civilian papers are even saying that there's no way America can win the war.
Yeah. Yeah, and Khe San's going to be overrun. And that the North Vietnamese, or Charlie, also occupy Hue, the city where Joker has now been tasked to go to.
Okay. So now they get on a helicopter.
Oh, Fubai, that's the name of it. Yeah, is the where they go. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We meet this helicopter door gunner.
This guy's a dick.
He's an interesting kind of guy. Yeah. He's just shooting his 60. He's got a 60, or AKA the Hog.
Right.
He's just shooting this thing outside, and he's going, get some, get some, get some.
Yeah.
And he's just shooting people.
Yep.
Like people working in rice paddies.
Just regular women, children. He don't give a fuck, you know.
Yeah. He says if they're running, then they're NVA. If they're standing still, they're really disciplined NVA.
Right.
Joker asks him how he can shoot women and children like that. He says, easy. Just don't lead them so much.
It's kind of a funny answer. I'm not going to lie.
What's really crazy, every time I see this scene, it makes me think of my uncle.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly what his job was in the Army.
Yeah. You mentioned on here before, actually, as a door gunner, yeah.
Yeah, so like every time I see the scene, it just makes me think about him. And my uncle still suffers from like PTSD, like pretty hardcore.
Some shit, yeah.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of fucked up shit that happened in Vietnam. I'm not gonna lie, man.
The whole thing was fucked up.
It was.
So they land and they start going to work, and they go and they find Mr. Touchdown.
Yeah, he's the CO. So Joker knows that where they're going, Hue, the cowboy from boot camp, that's like his company that he's with. Mm-hmm. And so they go to talk to the CO, and they call him Mr. Touchdown. And they're trying to find out about where he's at. And he's like, oh yeah, the rest of the guys are up there a ways. And he mentions to him that there's dead civilians, like in a ditch, basically. And so Joker and Raptor Man go to check it out because they're newspaper reporters, you know. So they go up there. There's these bodies. They look like they're covered with lye or something like that, I assume, to like kill the smell.
No, it's to help the bodies decompose.
Oh, okay. And that's where there's a colonel that's giving Joker shit about his uniform.
He's got a peace button on his lapel, and his helmet says "Born to Kill."
He's like, "Is that some kind of joke or something?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I just found the button." And
he said he wanted to show the duality of man.
Right. Interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Joker's character. If you're paying attention to the Joker throughout this movie, he's the main character pretty much of this.
Now he
film.
is, yeah.
Right.
He wasn't before, but yeah.
You pay attention to him, like he's always like real sarcastic.
Doing crappy John Wayne.
Yeah, he just, he's always like real contradictory, like on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, he was giving the lieutenant before that was telling him how to like censor the newspaper. He's giving him shit. He's like, "We'll put in there that an officer died," because he's trying to like rally the troops and get people motivated to go fight or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Should I put down a general? And shit like that."
Right.
Kind of a funny line, actually.
So we get to first platoon, and it's Cowboy. We get to see Cowboy again.
Yep. He is in charge. He's a sergeant now.
In the Lust Hog Squad.
Lust Hog Squad. Apparently, it's pretty famous. The Lust Hog Squad is actually.
I didn't know anything about him.
I don't know. And we get to meet Animal Mother.
Yep.
Yeah, Adam Baldwin. He gives him a bunch of shit about. I don't even remember what he was talking about. There's some lame dialogue in there, I noticed.
It's just dick measuring contest.
Yeah. And then Joker says something about eating the peanuts out of his shit or something like that. It's really bizarre.
Well, he said he told Joker he was gonna kick his ass.
Yeah.
And then Joker like, only when you're done eating the peanuts out of my shit.
Really way to follow up getting your ass kicked.
And the whole platoon's like, whoa.
Good one, yeah.
But we meet 8 Ball.
8 Ball, yep. Also, I'm assuming because he's black is why they call him that.
Yeah, and what's really crazy is that's not what they call him in this scene.
No, it's not.
But that's what they do call him. It's a racial slur. What they call him. I thought that was his nickname. And then when I found out what his nickname is 8 Ball, I'm like, that's just as racist.
It is. It's not any better.
No.
Nope, it's not.
And then we see a dead MVA.
Yeah, this guy is like chilling next to this dead Vietnamese dude.
Yeah. He says it's his birthday party.
Right. Yeah, and he has like a hat on him and shit. Yeah. It gets weird.
Then they go up patrol.
Mm-hmm. Right out of the gate, too. So they're on patrol, walking in this battle formation up both sides of the street, and there's this booby trap that's the set of landmines, and Captain Touchdown gets killed pretty much instantly. So as much shit as I'll give the second half of this movie, I actually do like where it shows them like bounding toward the city, where like one guy will go and then like take cover, and then the guy will come up behind him, because it's pretty authentic. And I think that considering this is 1987, that the camera work's actually pretty cool, because it's showing behind him, and you'll see one guy come up and then the next guy will come up. I thought that was kind of neat, and the camera works pretty good. So, it is what it is.
I enjoy it.
I'll give credit where it's due.
Then they just destroy a building basically by shooting at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it goes on for a while, but that's basically what happens.
Yeah, they just shoot at these buildings, and another guy gets hit.
Yeah, he doesn't make much of a difference. But after this whole battle is over, we see where they're actually being interviewed for these news reports and shit. And
real quick before we do the interviews, there was 2 dead. So we lost Mr. Touchdown, and we lost a guy called Handjob.
Oh yeah, because he was supposed to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. They were sad because he was supposed to be out of there. He was literally waiting for his Section 8 orders to come through so he could go home, and he was Section 8 because he couldn't stop jerking off.
They said he would beat off like 50 times a day.
Yeah, and when he went to go do his mental health evaluation, he just whipped it out and started beating off right there.
Beating off. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that guy had a plan.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get out. I'm relatively sure.
I've always heard this story about a kid who would have dribbled an imaginary basketball. He's a young soldier, and he would just dribble this imaginary basketball wherever he went.
Yeah.
And he would even set it down before he did something. He would do whatever he was supposed to do. Then he'd pick his ball back up and keep dribbling.
Good lord.
And then they decided to chapter him out. And when he went to go do his final interview and sign his paperwork or whatever, he dribbled his basketball into the office and he set it up on the desk where he was signing the paperwork.
Yeah.
And after he was done signing his paperwork, he walked out and they're like, "Hey, you forgot your basketball." And he turned around and said, "Game over."
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but it's a badass story.
I don't know if it's true at all, but I like the story. Yeah,
it's a good story. Well, it's
I think that's what Handjob was doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Klinger dressing up like a girl in MASH, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then we go to the news interviews.
Yeah. And of course, Cowboy, he likes this shit. He's like, "I'm happy to be here. I think what we're doing is important," and all that other stuff. I think Animal Mother, I find the most interesting in the interviews, because he's like, "I think that what we're doing over here is stupid and we have no business over here," but he still enjoys killing people and stuff. It's kind of bizarre.
Animal Mother is a twisted individual.
He's a sick fuck. Yeah, definitely. All the other guys kind of have a general consensus though of nobody really knows why we're over here. This is just kind of what Uncle Sam told us to do. So
yeah, we're here because they told us we had to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I got. I said all kinds of opinions, mostly not very positive ones. And then we get a chance to see another prostitute. She's my favorite one of the two. And I'm not talking about because of their physical attractiveness. I'm talking about because of just the dialogue.
Right.
This girl...
Beaucoup.
Yeah. So they're negotiating. Same starting price of $15. They negotiated down to $5. It sounds like this is something they do for every prostitute they see.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 Ball wants to go first.
Right.
So he walks up and he's like, all right, mama, let's go do this thing. And she's like, oh, she like whispers something.
Yeah.
She whispers something to her handler, and he says, "Soul brother to Beaucoup." Like, she doesn't want to sleep with 8-Ball because of the stereotypes African Americans have too large, really large penises.
Right.
So he pulls it out and says, although this may be a fine example of an Alabama king snake, it ain't too goddamn Beaucoup. And she goes, okay.
Yep, she's good. She got to see it. She's good.
Then Animal Mother steals her.
Yeah, he does. And
he says, I'll go first.
After you, yeah. It's kind of funny. So there's still a lot of places where, not obviously like in Afghanistan, I don't think you're bound to see too many like, ladies of the night in Afghanistan or anything. But from my understanding, so the army actually up until recently was pretty much down. Like if you're in Germany where prostitution is legal, they were fine with it. I mean, whatever you want to spend your money on. But I guess nowadays they're like, hey, there might be like some human trafficking shit involved, and we really don't even want to get wrapped up with that. So from my understanding is it's kind of generally not accepted, the whole like hanging out with prostitutes and shit like that,
As long as I've been in the army, you are not allowed to get a prostitute.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well,
and it was exactly because of human trafficking.
Yeah. From my understanding, this is from an old non-commissioned officer that I used to have, but he said that back in the day that the army was cool with that. They would even take money out of your paycheck so that you could like pay off the, whatever tab you've accumulated, like
what?
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but anyway, so what was it here? I said squad checks report of NVA retreat. I guess it's out of Hue. They were supposed to. Yeah, they said that they had heard that the NVA was pulling out of Hue, and so they're sending a group to go check it out, which consists of Cowboy and Joker and Raptor Man and all that shit.
First platoon.
Yeah. And so they go up there. While they're doing so, I wrote down Crazy Earl dies. There's like a booby trap. He winds up getting killed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Why he picked up that? It's a stuffed rabbit.
Yeah.
Laying in the middle of like rubble. Why he picked that up makes no sense to me.
That's bad. That's exactly what they want you to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trained. Don't pick up shit.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is they'll like nowadays it's like IEDs, but they'll hide it in literally anything. Like the ass of a dead camel. Anything.
Yep.
But let's see.
So
here.
Cowboy gets promoted to platoon sergeant.
Yep, he does. And then, Cowboy's running shit. And I wrote down the squad gets lost.
Yeah.
They have to.
If you don't mind, would you mind if I did this week's fast forward?
Yeah, please, by all means.
So this is how it goes down, okay? So the squad takes a wrong turn. 8-Ball, he's the one navigating, so he messed up. So Cowboy's like, you're going to have to go forward and go check it out and see if there's a place for us to push through this town. So 8-Ball runs up there. He gets shot. Matter of fact, he's getting picked apart. Just like we talked about in Saving Private Ryan, how the sniper puts you with the shot and he's hoping other people will come out to help you. He's doing the same thing with 8-Ball. The medic, they call him Doc G, he keeps wanting to go out there. Cowboy tells him no, but then he disregards Cowboy's order and goes out there anyways. He gets shot, so now he's getting picked apart. Animal Mother, same thing. He's like, we should go out there. We can't leave those guys behind. Cowboy's like, no, we need to go another way. Those two are dead. Don't worry about them. And he's like, no, they're still alive. You can hear him screaming, and you can see him being shot and stuff, and it looks pretty terrible. So Animal Mother had enough of it, and he decided he's going to push forward too. So he disregards Cowboy's order. Every time someone disregards Cowboy's order, they all have to shoot all their ammunition to provide cover fire for these guys. Well, Animal Mother goes up there, and he almost gets shot, but he doesn't. So then he hollers back at Cowboy, and he says, hey, send the team up here. There's just one sniper. So then a fire team consisting of Cowboy and Joker and Raptor Man and a couple other guys all bound forward to Animal Mother's position. Animal Mother tells them where the sniper is, and they kind of move to position, except for they're standing right in front of a giant gaping hole in front of the wall. So then Cowboy gets shot. He's dead now too. And, Joker's sad and he's crying, talking about how Cowboy is his favorite turd. And then Animal Mother looks up at Joker and says, "Let's get payback." And Joker says, "Okay." And they throw smoke, and all of a sudden it's nighttime. And it's really beautifully lit. The way they got this fire and this smoke going, and we're walking through like these structures of the building. What do you think about that? You like that? It's pretty, right?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I
so then they go through. I thought it was really like beautifully lit.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's extraordinarily done. Just the way it's shot in general.
Yeah. And then they start splitting up in teams to find the sniper. Joker does find the sniper. Joker finds the sniper, and when the sniper turns around, we see that it's like a 14-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. And Joker's weapon jams, and he can't shoot, so he goes to grab his pistol out of his hip. But just as he does that, Raptor Man comes in and just shoots the shit out of this girl. Shoots her like 70 times or something crazy like that. She falls to the ground. Animal Mother and the rest of the guys come in, and they are all talking. They're like, "Yeah, we got the sniper." And Raptor Man's like super excited, talking about like how he's a badass now. And the girl's like sitting there saying something. They don't know what it is, but she's praying. And Animal Mother is like pretty much ordering everybody to leave her behind, let the rats pick her apart. And Joker like feels bad. He's like, "We can't just leave her here." So Animal says, "Well, if you want to take her, if you want to kill her yourself." So he does. He just pulls the trigger, puts her right in the thing, and kills the girl. Then they're all marching to the perfume river singing Mickey Mouse.
They are. I thought the Mickey Mouse thing was kind of weird. But
I think it's to represent America.
I think you might be right. And I mean, you see dudes marching in formation singing goofy shit all the time. You know, at least back in Garrison you do. So, one thing I will say, so it's actually Doc J, but that's just kind of a clip note.
Oh, I said Doc G?
Yeah. Doc G, that's a badass name though. That's like a rapper name. So. The thing I thought was interesting was that Animal Man is like, "Oh man, you know, like Joker's badass now." But Joker was mercy killing her. He wasn't trying to be badass or anything, you know. The little sniper girl. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the way the movie ends. And he says that, you know, his thoughts were finger banging Mary Jane Rotten Crotch, you know, which is what his gunny told him back in boot camp. But that's it, you know.
Yeah, I fast forward to that part because when you're watching it, they draw that out a lot.
Really draw. It's like, I want to say a good like 25 minutes that they go through this whole thing. Yeah. So, no, that's whenever I was watching it and I was like, man, they are really drawing this out. Like, how much movie do I have left? You know, for all the plot that they give you, there's still like a good half hour of movie left. What the fuck? So
yeah, and all we accomplished in that scene is we watch Cowboy die, we watch Doc J die, we watch 8-Ball die.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but they do shoot like 8-Ball. He gets shot a lot. Like
he gets shot 4 times.
Oh, that's there you go.
He gets shot 4 individual times before Animal Mother gets up there.
Right.
And he's like, "Doc, where's the sniper?" And the Doc points.
And then he used the machine gun.
Yeah, then the sniper just shoots up Doc J and 8-Ball.
8-Ball, yeah. So that's Full Metal Jacket. What is your take? Your opinion?
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I love this movie. Yeah, I do. I mean, I could go into it a lot, but I really just love this movie. The similarities of the boot camp scenes. Now, this is supposed to be in Vietnam time frame.
Right.
I'm
At least
sure
the
it was
early
way.
70s, but yeah.
I'm sure it was way harder than it was when I went through in '97. Mm-hmm. You know, as I've been in the military now, it's 2018. I've watched the military soften a lot. Like, you know, not as much violence. Your language is more policed. Mm-hmm. You know, as I've watched all that go on, I've watched it get softer. So I'm only imagining that it was softer from that point to by the time I got there, anyways.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're talking on 30 years. I'm sure it was softer.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. The military's softer in pretty much every way. So you know,
all branches of service. I talked to some Air Force cats, and like they said their boot camp's like summer camp.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super chill.
You know, it's funny because, you know, there's this deal where typically, you know, if you're in like either the Marines or the Army, the Air Force and the Navy both are kind of like a running joke, you know. But my dad, I still won't talk shit to that dude because I'm sure the Air Force basic training back then when he was in Vietnam era was fucking unpleasant, you know. So
I'm sure it's worse than what you had when you went through Army boot camp.
That would not surprise me at all. So, is there any sort of disconnect with you between the first half and the second half, like quality wise, or do you find it jarring at all, or anything like that?
I remember wanting more of the first half. Like, especially the first like few times I watched it.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. There's been a few times where me and my buddies were like getting ready to go somewhere, and we had that movie on, and we would stay until the Me So Horny scene was over. And I'd be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen the second half. We know how that goes.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying earlier because Mike heard me over talking this weekend because I was at their house. But I was talking to Preston, who did Back to the Future with us, and I said, you know, for me, after the boot camp stuff, this turns into just another kind of generic war movie. There's nothing that really stands out to me all that much. And so that's kind of my take on it. Is it a great movie still? Yeah, it's still pretty great. So
I think though it's not a war movie though. It's a commentary movie.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
So like the stuff that he shows in that second half, I mean, he does it sometimes not even so sneakily, like he has a news interview.
Right. Yeah.
They talk about spinning the news in the Army, you know, Stars and Stripes.
Right.
I mean, so I think it's way more of a commentary piece than it is an actual war film.
Right. Well, and I think too that Joker has a character arc of sorts that basically his experience with Private Pile whenever he fucked him up with that bar of soap, because you could see that he was visibly distraught after he actually heard the aftermath of what he had actually done to Private Pile. Like, he actually put his hands over his ears so he didn't have to listen to him cry or anything, you know. And I think that they actually kind of instill that Joker has actually learned like mercy now, because at the end of the movie there's this Vietnamese girl that's shot, you know, and they could just leave her there, but
just killed his favorite turd.
Right. Yeah. But he actually takes mercy on her, and I think that was something that he actually learned from his experience with Private Pile, I think. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe, I'm sure there was something like that intended, but whatever. I might be reading some shit into some shit. So
no, I like that. I like that theory.
So, any final thoughts? Full Metal Jacket.
Man, all I gotta say is Arlie Ermey, R.I.P. Right, rest in peace, brother. Like,
yeah,
he is the reason why the first half of this movie is so good.
I agree. He's great, and his foil, Vincent D'Onofrio, they're just great together, you know.
Oh yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio kills Pyle. He does a great job as Pyle. But Arlie Ermey,
literally,
his phrasing, so. Yeah. His wording, the way his phrasing, you know, he had said a bunch of those things like in real life, so I think that's why they're so impactful when he says them. But looks like the best parts of you crawled down your mother's ass crack. Yeah. You know, like, or slid down your mother's ass crack. Lines like that, like, how tall are you? 5'8", sir. I didn't know they stack shit that high. Like those are classics.
Oh yeah.
So many of the things he said in that movie, like, have been used amongst me and my friends. I don't know how many times.
And this is one of those movies where you're gonna see people quoting lines that have no idea where it's from. Like, you know, they've never seen Full Metal Jacket. You know, they just think that shit's funny, you know, and very quotable, which it is. You know, so. Yeah,
I mean, I'm 5'8", so literally, someone asked me before, like, how tall are you? And I was like 5'8", and someone else in the room, like, a desk or two down, just like, I didn't know they stack shit that high, ha ha ha.
Right, yeah.
Like, he wasn't even asking me how. They were asking me my height and weight for height and weight purposes, and then some other guy who happened to be listening quoted it. You know,
right?
Like, that's how quotable all the stuff in this movie is.
It is. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. and let us know what you think. So
It's on Netflix right now for free.
that's it. Check it out. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
You been watching anything this week?
This week we celebrated Farrah's 5th birthday.
We did.
So on her birthday fell on a Wednesday, so we had her party yesterday on a Saturday. But on Wednesday we watched Hotel Transylvania 3.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finish out that trilogy, huh?
Yeah.
My wife saw that with our daughter, and she said it was pretty weak. So
They left it open for another one.
oh wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna ride
bait
that
hook.
franchise.
Yeah, it's making money. Any shows, or I guess we watched that Pitmaster grilling thing yesterday. The barbecue.
I wasn't watching that.
Oh, okay.
I was busy like entertaining and
Right.
doing stuff around the house. Let's see. I finished off Handmaid's Tale season 2. Finished it finally.
I heard season 2 is actually an improvement over season 1. But
Season 1's good too. It's just the concept of the show is so like off-putting
yeah,
that it's hard to get through. But
right.
if you stay with it, man, you develop a relationship with the characters. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I watched the first episode based on y'all's recommendation. I think it's kind of unpleasant to watch. Like, a lot of fucked up shit in that thing, man.
It is.
Yeah. It's not a feel-good show. If you like Full House, you're probably not going to like Handmaid's Tale. So, let's see. I watched, me and your wife, whenever I woke up at your house on Saturday morning, we were watching Pretty Woman. So I don't think that counts.
Have you ever thought about yourself, to the people who listen to our show, how often like one of our spouses is at the other guy's house and like
It sounds like wife swap or something. But yeah, no, we've never
Our wives
crossed that
are-
terrain. But
For you people out there listening, our wives are best friends.
for like the last 20 years, so yeah.
Yeah, they would they enjoy being together much more than they enjoy being with us.
Oh yeah, easily.
So they frequently go to each other's homes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we always have one or the other's wives is in someone else's house.
Right. I watched The Handmaid's Tale. I watched some of The Office, based on Jared's recommendation. He's talking about it, and I felt froggy, so I did that. Today we got started. So the new season of Orange is the New Black dropped on Netflix.
Yeah,
so we've been checking
that out.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. Really.
How'd you like Big Brother this week?
Oh, a lot of shit went down. It's good.
Yeah.
Good little 3-part saga there going.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't watched it yet, I'm not gonna spoil it. If you even watch that show, but
Probably don't.
probably not. You have any idea what we're watching this week?
No, you haven't told me.
No, I haven't. Mike thought he knew up until about Thursday. I was originally talking about watching A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, and Kevin Bacon shows up, and Kiefer Sutherland, my spirit animal, he shows up. I love Kiefer, dude. He's badass. But I decided against that just because I kind of didn't want to talk about it. Which is funny because I've told Mike for the longest time that I wanted to watch A Few Good Men for this military movie month. But instead, I went through and I was looking online the other day, and there's a movie it's actually the most recent movie we've done, or that we're going to have done, but it was never number one, so we're going to talk about it, and that's Jarhead.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal and Jamie Foxx and all that shit. Yeah.
Another Marine Corps movie.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
You picked it.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoy that movie, so.
I got some stuff to say about it.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun to talk about.
There will be. If you have anything that you would like to contribute to the show, you can always reach us, cheesymovie@yahoo.com. You can check us out on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast, Casino Royale W Cheese. Our YouTube handle is the same, Casino Royale W Cheese. Our Facebook, Casino Royale with Cheese, all separate words. And Instagram, Casino Royale W Cheese. Twitter, Casino Royale WCH. And I think that might do it for me, my friend. You got any final thoughts.
Like, I'm just gonna sit here and stare at him and see what he says.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So good looking. So
whenever you do the plugs there at the end, I always kind of tune out.
oh yeah, I got you.
Nothing
I don't
against
blame
you. I
you.
know you're just working hard, but you know, sitting there thinking about what I'm gonna eat for lunch.
I haven't had lunch either. It's like 4.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, make sure you join us for our continuation of Military Movie Month. This will be week 3, and I appreciate you all watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.
I'll be back.